Hi guys. So, what do you do if you're a sensitive person and you actually are interested in mediumship or intuitiveness or your psychic ability, as we in our sort of branch speak about? But psychic ability is just using your own intuition, really, and your sensitivity to read something. You can read a room, the atmosphere in a room, and I'm sure everybody of you have felt that. Let's say you walk into a room and two people have had a huge argument. You feel it. It's like you're cutting the air with a knife, as we say. And that's your sensitivity picking up the changes. And to be a good sensitive and to understand it, some people think it's hard to develop your sensitivity because you become more sensitive, but you also learn to control it in a total different way because you're becoming aware of who you are. You get to understand your own energy and the differences when you're reading someone else's energy. I'm sure a lot of you, for example, when you are living with a partner or have a good friend, that sometimes you just know that something is wrong. Even if they don't say it, they can put a big smile on the face, but you feel there is something there. Or if you're very close to someone, like me and my husband, sometimes, if I'm thinking something, he's saying it, and the opposite. It happens every day because we know each other's energy. And it's not like you're reading the mind, but you're picking up the same essence, because otherwise I wouldn't say every word for word, so to speak, but we're talking about the same concept. So we're in there in our energies. So when you learn your craft of mediumship, you have to learn the craft of your sensitivity first. You have to learn how to feel and sense and interpret energy. And when you're interpreting energy, the only thing you can use is your mind and your imagination and your life experience, because that's how we understand the energy. Hi everybody, my name is Mia Ottosson and I'm from Sweden. I'm a spiritualist medium and I've been involved in about 30 years now. I'm doing everything from mediumship, private sittings, demonstrations, doing courses. I'm also a healer, a trance medium, I'm an author, but also a spirit artist. I'm dabbling in everything and I've done for 30 years. I do think I have quite a lot of experience by now, and both for good and bad. But all my experiences has taken me to who I am today. And I think I have quite a lot of value to offer you, actually. And if you feel that this is appealing to you, please follow me on my YouTube channel, or you can also subscribe to my newsletter that is free. And it's on www.journeywithmia.com. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Bye. And sometimes if you don't know yourself too well, it's very easy to assume a lot of things. And you're picking up a lot of things and you assume that's what it is. But it might actually be from your own backpack, so to speak, and your own insecurities, fears, or whatever you have gone through in your life. And a lot of people actually think that when they are a good sensitive, they think it's coming from the spirit world. That the spirit will tell you all these things. But that is not true. You shouldn't underestimate your own power. And you are a living soul. You are a spirit. So your own soul and your own spirit has a tremendous power and tremendous knowledge, because that spirit is in contact with the spirit world. So there is a difference by reading energy, living energy, and what's going on from yourself, because the spirit world, they're not going to tell you about the future. They're not going to gossip about other people. So that is coming from you. And it's good to know the difference, because when you know the difference and you get to know yourself and your own energy, it's also so much easier to make decisions about what you want to do with your life. In the beginning, when I was new, I went to a lot of mediums and you wanted answers, and because I didn't realize the difference of psychic energy or reading the aura of someone, as we say. And the aura is actually the illumination from your own soul and your own spirit. And if you're a good psychic or a sensitive, you can actually read everything in the auric field on another person, because that's the storage, so to speak. And in that storage, in your auric field, you actually can read everything that that person has been through in their life, or what they have for thoughts for the future, their hopes and the dreams, everything is in that auric field. You can even pick up who they have lost from the spirit world, and you can talk about them and tell things about that spirit person, but you're actually reading it from the sitter. So there's a huge difference to using your own sensitivity and your psychic ability, or speaking to the spirit world. And back in the time, there was no messages really. Today, everybody who goes to a medium, they really want a message. What does my mother want to say? What are they trying to tell me? But in all honesty, the message is, I'm alive. Life goes on after death. I love you, or I'm sorry. But the demand over the year, and because mediums haven't really known the difference all the time what's coming from the spirit world, they think everything comes from there. But no, it's very little that comes from the spirit world. At least if you believe what I believe, that we have personal responsibility in our life. I take personal responsibility for my actions, my deeds, my decisions, everything. And the spirit world is just, how can I say, they're just supporting me in whatever I do, but they won't tell me what to do, because that's my life learning. So when you go to a medium, for example, don't expect them, if they know the difference, or if they work like I do, that they will tell you what to do in their life, because it's definitely not coming from the spirit world. It's coming from the medium itself. So there is a huge difference to working with the different energies. And when you're working with the spirit energy, it's a very bubbly, fast, uplifting energy, and you get very, very alive in it. If you're working with your own energy for a long, long time, it can be very draining and very tiring. It's the same when you're giving healing. If you're giving healing from your own thoughts and your mind and your compassion and caring, it's draining. But if you're giving healing from the spirit world, from the spirit, through the spirit within you, and to the spirit of the patient or the client, it's also uplifting. So it can be very, very tiring to don't understand the difference of the energy. It can also be a lot of fear in that, because how many haven't seen stories, horror stories, movies, and it's all about the bad and the evil, But in my mind, there's no evil in the spirit world, because I believe personally that our spirit, our soul is light, and when we die, that light travels on to the next sphere, so to speak, and it becomes one with the divine. So evil belongs in the myth and the fear and everything, and a lot has been created through religion and black and white, and all that things. And religion is man-made, and we have better knowledge today. But if you don't have knowledge, if you don't know, the mind will automatically be afraid, because we do have our animal instinct, and our animal instinct is always looking for safety and security. So when we're picking up something we don't understand, the mind will go to a flight mode, and it will try to find the safety and security. So it's fear, the unknown. I was terrified of the dark when I grew up, absolutely terrified. Today, I love the dark. I love sitting in a dark room where there's no lights, it's absolutely pitch black, and I can study energy. It's absolutely so peaceful. But if I would have my old belief system when I believed in the bad stuff, the slightest change within the energy, if someone would come and visit me, I would be scared like hell. Especially if someone comes and visits you who wasn't a nice person when they was alive. Because they want you to recognize them, they can't show themselves or try to influence you where they're good and lovely and everything that they were not. So when you're picking up an energy that you don't really like, of course you will be fearful. So there's a lot to learn when you start working as a medium, and it's so exciting because everything is about interpreting energy, living or someone who's not living anymore. And this is a lot, it takes a lot of years. I don't think we will ever craft it. We will ever totally understand it. And I also believe that our minds is not evolved as much so we can understand it to its full. We only have a life experience. We only have science to look back to. And we only have what people have taught us. And in my business, with all the mediumships going on, all the mediums think they're right. That's why I say never trust a medium, because I believe I'm right, but who knows? I might be so wrong, I might be so wrong. But this is my understanding that I have come to after 30 years of working in this business. And believe you me, I never met anything bad ever. And I'm not afraid of the spirit world whatsoever. What I am afraid of is other people from time to time, because people can be very, very mean and evil. But the spirit world, for me, they're just light. They just love. So you don't have to be afraid of them. And the other thing I can be afraid of is my own mind. I mean, that can be the best friend or the worst enemy. But hey, that's what we're learning. If you're learning to understand yourself, you can change a lot. And you can also start to understand why you believe, act, or react on certain things. So when you're developing your mediumship or the sensitivity, you're also going through a personal development, which is so important. And even if it's hard sometimes to look in on yourself, it's hard sometimes to see the ugly world, because we are sensitives, the ones who look into this. But it gives you so much back. And for me, who have had a death wish since I was a kid, I love life today. It might not be smooth and easy, and I might be depressed, I might have anxiety, I might be sad, and all them emotions. But I don't want to die anymore. Life is so precious. And I can also, appreciate a lot more today. I appreciate this with my sensitivity. I'm picking up things I never did before, which is very valuable for me. So if you are interested in actually looking into mediumship, don't forget your personal development comes along with it. And it's so important. So it's not just black and white, It goes hand in hand, your personal development, your intuitiveness, and to working with the spirit world. And it's the most exciting thing you can do. It's absolutely amazing every time. And not only do you get the love from the spirit world, and you learn to love yourself in a different way, and learn to realize and appreciate your own spirit, your own soul. And you also learn to understand why maybe other people are like they are. Because I don't believe that people are born evil if there's not something really damaging in there. I think people get lost and they become, in a way, because of their pain and the hurt they've been through. And that's quite interesting. When you're reading other people, you learn to see behind the masks. You learn to see the beauty in each and every one. And I actually believe that we are sisters and brothers, all of us. I'm starting up a beginner's course in mediumship, but mediumship is not just speaking to the spirit world. So when you're starting a course, because you're sensitive, it's all about personal development as well. And every person is sensitive, and then there are extra sensitive people, so to speak. But it's also a choice if you want to learn to use your sensitivity in the best way you can and let it be your best friend and not your enemy. Or if you want to try to hide it and shy away from it. And I don't believe that is good. So if you are a very sensitive person, you need to know how you are functioning. So what we're dealing with is actually our own soul, our own spirit. And if you are like me, if you have everything and you still have an emptiness within your heart, you probably need to look in to see your soul, to see who you really are. So around us we have something we call the auric field, and that's just the illumination from your own spirit and your own soul. And if you're gifted to see the colors that actually are within the auric field, it's very, very beautiful. And what we do in the beginning is to learn to read them colors or read the energy of someone else. And while we're doing that together with other people, we also get to be read from others. And sometimes we get some aha moments where now I understand myself, why I am like this and that. So a beginner's course is all about developing your own sensitivity and to understand the changes in energy, to understand human beings, to understand maybe why they behave like they do. Because if I learned anything over the years is that I don't believe anyone is born evil. I think people get lost over the ways, and they get lost because they've maybe been treated very badly. They might have been neglected, they maybe been beaten, they maybe been abused, or just been lonely. Whatever happens to them make people usually angry maybe, and sometimes they can go into depression. They might be mistrusting other people, and there's a lot of negativity that can come from not understand and to appreciate yourself. So if you're going to develop mediumship, you really need to learn to accept who you are, work on yourself, understand yourself, and understand the energy that you actually are and how it changes depending on your mood. And why are we doing this? Well, first of all, for me, it's been a bliss to understand myself because I felt lost all my life, and to understand other people. And it also means that I'm more tolerant, I have more patience. So that's how we learn to see how energy is affecting us as well. I'm sure everybody of you have maybe walked into a room and there's been a huge argument, for example, and it's like you can cut the air with a knife. Everybody feels it. So you're picking up a lot of things, and sometimes you might not even realizing that you're picking it up from other people and you think it belongs to you. So when you're developing these gifts or this talent, that I would like to call it, it also makes you understand what belongs with yourself and what belongs with others. And it's been a great benefit for me in my life, because if I wake up with a happy feeling and I feel good, and I maybe are going to a place, meet other people, and suddenly I feel awful. Back in time, I was just thinking it was me. I don't belong here. They don't like me. I mean, I could find every excuse that it was something bad with me, instead of realizing that sometimes the people I'm meeting are not feeling good within themselves. And I put that on myself. So the more I have developed my sensitivity, the more sensitive you become, of course, but you get control of it. And that has taught me what's mine and not mine. And even if I feel an uncomfortable feeling, I can very quickly figure out, is this for me or is this something else that I can just drop? And that has saved me from a lot of anxiety, because I do have a lot of anxiety anyway, but it has saved me from a lot of hardship because of the understanding of energy from other people. And when you develop this, then you also start to talk to the spirit world, which is so exciting. But it's two different energies, and not everything that we're picking up is coming from the spirit world. Absolutely not. We have personal responsibility, and I personally don't believe the spirit world is coming in and say, oh, you need to change your car, or you're going to change your house, or you need to change your job, or whatever. I believe that our own soul is speaking to us about things like that. So I have learned quite a lot about personal responsibility. Everything stays here. I can't blame the world. I can't blame people around me. I take responsibility for my actions, my deeds, and my, what do you say? If I'm making a decision, I take actions for them as well. And if something is not going right, I can't blame anyone else. It's up to me. And sometimes circumstances around you might not be that fun. it might be that you are in a terrible situation, but still, when I am in a bad situation, it's still up to me, my mind, to work it out in the best way I can and not fall into that trap and feel sorry for myself, because that doesn't help whatsoever. I mean, that sorriness we feel for ourselves, well, we all have self-pity from time to time, but there is a choice to choose to stay in it or move on. And sometimes when you're a sensitive person and you used to care for each and everyone in the whole wide world, especially the family, you are the rock, so to speak. Sometimes when you learn to distance yourself from not being open to what I call emotional blackmail, because you feel what people want from you, you feel their expectation, and you gladly help it because it also means that you are needed. But when you learn the difference and you can take a distance to that, usually we feel a little bit cold, like where do my feelings go? I don't have empathy anymore? But no, that's not true. A sensitive person will always have empathy. It will always have compassion for other people, but we can learn to control it so we don't waste our energy for things that doesn't do us any good. Because life can be very lonely, but it's your life, and your life is not here to serve each and everybody else. You have to start to serve yourself first, because when you start to serve yourself first, you have more energy and you have more enthusiasm to help each and everybody else as well, because that's our goal, really, to be in service. But we can't forget about ourselves, because that's not doing anybody any good. So if you burn the candle in both ends, as we say, you won't be able to help anybody. So that's not point. That's just waste of energy. And so reading energy and learn about energy and learning about yourself is a huge benefit to your life. And when we then start to talk to the spirit world, we're talking about our relatives who has passed to the other side. It's a whole different ball game. And it's so much fun. It's a lively, uplifting, healing energy. It's quick, it's fast, and it really gives you a boost every time. I don't know how many times I'm not been in my best way. I might fighting with a cold or anything. I get into that energy, step into that energy, working with the spirit world, and I feel right as rain. Yeah, I might crash afterwards, but there's nothing who has given me so much healing as the energy from the spirit world. And there's nothing that has given me so much joy than when I have delivered a good contact from that world to help someone move on after they lost someone dear to them. And it's the same with the intuitive side. You can help people by understand them, how they're functioning, and give them a little bit help here and there for them to help themselves, because you can't do the job for them, but you can guide them and you can let them know that you care and you see them, you hear them, and this is what you're picking up around them, and help them to not maybe waste their energy. So dealing with energy is such an amazing, amazing gift to have in your life. And it makes you understand yourself, other people on a totally different level. And it also makes you realizing your own responsibility and who you are. What is it that you're functioning as you are? Why do I get upset here? Why do I get annoyed here? Why don't I have patience here or tolerance? Why do I make other people's my problem? There's a lot here that will help us become a better person when we do our personal development. So that's actually the key when you're developing mediumship. It's the personal development. So if I haven't done this journey and worked with myself, I've done it for 30 years, I still have a long way to go, believe you me. But if I wouldn't have done it, I don't know if I would even be here, because I was so sad. I felt so lost when I grew up. I had a death wish from when I was 10, 12 years old. Today, I love life. I actually love my life, and I wish I had 300 years to live so I can do different things within my life. So for me, it has given me beauty back, and it has also taken away that emptiness within my heart that was so painful, where I didn't belong anywhere. So personal development is the key to be successful when you do your mediumistic journey. Thank you. Bye.